It's too often that the heroes of our stories are portrayed rather heroic. Obviously, it's in the name. What protagonist in an anime, comic, or whatnot is not the main character when they need to be, unless it is purposefully a tragic storyline? Well, in this week's episode, Witch Hat Atelier shows us how you can walk on the fine line of gray, portraying your heroes as both capable, yet realistic children in this case. While browsing the stationery shop, Coco spots the masked witch who gave her the forbidden picture book in the first place. Acting on her own, she immediately pursues the perpetrator through the town. Seeing this, the other girls chase her down out of worry for their friend. Despite any dangers, Coco assumes a very courageous role here, to be willing to run after the unknown while knowing they are the ones who are responsible for her mother's petrification. You can definitely tell that she is motivated under these circumstances as the narrative's focus. Upon entering the other space with no resemblance to the town they walked in before, everyone grows wary and even Agate turns cautious. That shot of all the girls being faced with the dragon is horrific, especially when it zooms in on Coco's face. We've seen it a couple times before, but the animators have done a very amazing job of capturing the emotion on her face unique to her own experience, especially as an outsider. Agate assumes the position of responsibility as she coaches the girls in what to do and how to get away. She's able to blast away the beast using a pre-drawn spell in her notepad. This may not seem much, but it further adds that distinction between someone like Agate, who has lived her whole existence among witches, and Coco, who is taking this rather risky plunge into a world she's trying to acclimate to. This scene is where we see something rather surprising for mainstream anime. Whereas other series may portray our heroes in a selfless manner, Tetsuya has a nervous breakdown. It brings the pace of this episode to a brief halt. As she stares down Coco, both of them know what the other one is trying to say. In this moment, despite being part of this fantasy world, we see some of our characters out of their depth for some time. For someone who has grown up around magic her whole life, Tetsuya seems to be hit the hardest with this predicament they find themselves in. Another takeaway from this is that it seems rather reactionary. Despite being equipped with the necessary tools in order to overcome this challenge, she goes into a panic. It takes Agate calming her down to stabilize again, but it's refreshing to see something I can relate with in one of the main cast. While Tetsuya may be feeling terrified at this point, Coco feels utter guilt in dragging everyone else along with her. A theme that I think we've seen just the cusp of the beginning of is that conflict, or as manga readers would like to put it, suffering, builds character. When you take something away from the character, there needs to be a rational justification of it, whether they gain something physical, spiritual, or another form of growth. As far as the term suffering goes, there are different degrees to these obstacles that Coco faces. In the first episode, her mother is petrified. That may have very well been the end of that predicament, but Coco's love for magic attracted Quifrey to investigate the issue, and her attachment to her mother gave her the resolve to explore the world of magic for a solution to the problem. When they both arrive at the atelier, the new environment and isolation within it could be seen as a form of emotional conflict. It's certainly a reoccurring issue, the thinly veiled fact that Coco comes from outside of the witch society. It creates a barrier between her and the other girls, which we can especially see in Agate. This isolation is something Coco must face in the first trial of apprentices without the coming up of lessons that the usual student has. Up till the point in the maze, Coco has been harboring an awareness of the responsibility she holds for the person she is, a target of the brimmed hats and an outcast of the pointed caps. It's a lot of mental baggage. This is why you can't blame Coco for the next mishap. As the rest of the girls are formulating and working on the plan, Coco spots something unusual in the distance. When she tries to get Agate's attention, an unfortunate accident occurs. Agate messes up the spell she was drawing on the wall. In an intense situation such as this, she blows up at Coco about unspoken rules and silent blame that has to be taken on. Agate blames Coco for the fact that they are in this mess. To a certain certain degree, she isn't incorrect about the accusations, but she said it in a manner that was violent and childish. In her own way, Agate is feeling the pressure of their predicament, rightly so, but also some personal stressors of her own. If in a dire and grim situation, a meltdown like this would be deserved in some fashion. However, after every time that Agate has confronted Coco about being capable in terms of knowledge and experience, even going out of her own way to be dismissive of her roommate, you would begin to think there's some underlying reason rather than just blind hatred. Granted, both are possible, but if I were a blind fan, I would give the story the benefit of the doubt. In this confrontation between the two girls, Coco is once again shut off to the side while the rest of the apprentices work their way around the way forward. One thing that I enjoy about this sequence in the anime is that after the other girls leave, all you hear is Coco's words of strife. It doesn't show her face or whatever sadness or disappointment she may be feeling towards herself. It leaves it ambiguous. This shot elevates the degree of suffering that we've witnessed yet in an imaginative way, whereas in the manga, we were able to see her face, it wasn't contorted in a sorrowful way. She held a blank stare yet still spoke the same words. It was a gnawing stress, whilst in the anime, it is up to the viewer what expression Coco is donning while she says her thoughts and regrets. The episode at hand did a wonderful job of depicting a myriad of stress responses from our main cast of children. Tetsuya's first thought was to turtle up in a ball of terror. Agate's first thought was to lash out against others, or in this case, Coco. Coco's first thought was to take a step back and just think. This conflict created isolation that she knows all too well. It's refreshing in my eyes to see younger characters in the series acting their age in an authentic manner. Other series can try, but it may come off as half-baked. The final thing that the episode does well is that it just ends. For blind viewers to the anime, this could be frustrating because it is a cliffhanger that doesn't leave off in the comfiest position. There's drama and conflict that needs to be resolved, and it just hurts to wait that little bit after a new episode airs. However, this goes back to the pacing compliments I gave the show in my last video, where the lack of a resolution creates a stronger impact on the final moments we get to see of Coco, Quiffery, and the girls. When the piece of media is able to make you care about a set of people for 20 minutes and then stub the connection as it reaches a pivotal point each week, that is the telling of good story writers, producers, animators, and directors regarding the pacing, storyboarding, and all the sequencing that led to the completion of the episode. It's an art project in every sense of the idea and word. Now, I could talk about all of the accomplishments regarding the animation, the faithfulness to the adaptation in certain panels, other small things like that. That could be fun, but I think that might be best for something like Shorts or TikTok. It's a bit of work getting these weekly uploads out, but I'll try to get at least one short out every week. Without delaying any further, thank you very much for watching. See you all later, you cool people.